what is the effect of this? Well, I like to refer to good old Uncle Albert in Moose Jaw, whose nephew, for whatever reason, is suspected of some kind of terrorist act. And so, because they can't find the nephew, the police come to Uncle Albert's door and put him in jail for a day, and then take him before a judge and argue that Uncle Albert might know where the nephew is, so we can't let Uncle Albert have any more guns. We can't let Uncle Albert leave the country because we have to be able to interrogate Uncle Albert. Uncle Albert in Moose Jaw, who's done nothing. He has absolutely, the police don't suspect him of any terrorism. He just happens to be the uncle of the nephew who they do suspect. So then what happens? Uncle Albert says, because he's from Moose Jaw, and because he's a farmer, and because he's got to keep the varmints off his property, I can't give up my firearms. I'm not giving up my firearms. I refuse. No choice then. Put him in jail for 12 months, up to 12 months. That's the kind of thing that could happen to Uncle Albert in Moose Jaw, who has absolutely no terrorist inclination whatsoever. But because he's related to somebody the police are only investigating, because they suspect there might be some kind of terrorist activity, Uncle Albert's put in jail for up to 12 months. That's not what the Canada that I want to be part of. That's not the Canada that Canadians come to expect to have as part of their a part of their rights and freedoms is to have the right and freedom not to be imprisoned without conviction, without a trial, without a judge. And that's exactly what the Conservatives are suggesting should happen. That's one of the things that the NDP said, whoa, that goes too far. And the Conservatives said, too bad. This is the way we like it. We want this preventative detention to apply to anybody, not just people we suspect of being terrorists, but people that are peripherally related. And that, Mr. Speaker, takes this bill way too far. The timing of this bill, well, you can read for yourselves what the Globe and Mail has to say about the timing of this bill. You can suggest for yourselves what the Conservatives are doing to create the timing of this bill. But this bill is not going to do what the Conservatives suggest it will do and put Canada in a place where we could prevent the kinds of things that we all want not to happen. This bill goes too far in a number of its respects. The NDP supports the notion that we should be giving our police forces, our border protection people, the powers and the tools they need and the resources to prevent crimes being committed in Canada. The border services are having their budgets cut. At the same time, the Conservatives are suggesting that we want to prevent terrorists. And we want to prevent terrorists from occurring overseas. We want to prevent terrorists from being trained overseas. But at the same time as we want to prevent those kinds of things happening, we are in the position of having to say to our border services, oh, by the way, and you have to do with less. The border services are already having a terribly difficult time preventing the huge influx of smuggled guns into this country, which I would suggest are doing more to harm our citizenry and to put people in a state of fear than this bill would ever solve. And so at the same time that this bill is being presented as a necessary part of the arsenal of police officers, we're taking away money from the border service agents that are trying to prevent illegal handguns from reaching this country. It's a two-faced system, Mr. Speaker, and we in the NDP believe that there are things we should be doing and spending more time on than this one, and that this one is seriously flawed. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.